Hello guys, welcome to my channel NDP Review, and if you have already subscribed to me, then welcome back. And in today's video I will talk about the current situation of the whole economic in America as well as the world. We are at a very critical point of collapsing, with all the negative side sounding the alarm around the world. Now let's get to it. The United States economy is right now on the verge of collapsing. We are at the point where the economy has slowed down for the first time in the last 10 years. Our stock market has reached a record low point, whereas we also see a big drop in the US Treasury yield. The oil price is dropping also because of the current standoff between Russia and Saudi Arabia. Because of this, the oil price is currently very unstable, and at the same time, the whole world economy is slowing down. The stock market have been falling for weeks now, and as a result, the whole market is right now focusing on the Federal Reserve, as investors are all waiting for more monetary stimulus adjustment. For the last 3 years, economists and investors have been predicting that an economic collapse is imminent. Recently, their predictions have come true, and right now we have the biggest economic meltdown since 2008 financial crisis. The market have been plummeting every single trading day despite the effort made by the US Federal Reserve to inject trillions of dollars to try and prevent this collapse. In less than a month, the stock market has already lost more than $16 trillion. Right now, we have a lot of fear and tension in the market, similar to what we had in the Great Depression back in 1929. We are already in an economic crisis, and we are headed to an economic depression. The stock market has already crashed over 20%, and now we have officially entered into a bear territory. This is just the beginning. The Federal Reserve is also panicking that slammed interest rate to zero. For the last 10 years, we have had a weak and artificial economy, at the same time with the one of the longest bull market in history. Consequently, the stock market rose to historic highs. However, with the current global economic slowdown and the disruption of the supply chains, the whole economy has taken a downturn. Many people are just to realize that we are at difficult economic times, and soon we might wake up find ourselves in a depression. This economic storm will destroy the US economy that has been poorly built. We have managed to survive like this for many years. It looks as if this game is finally over, and it will be impossible to escape this time. The economy is already inflated. The bubble has just begun bursting. The Federal Reserve has been trying to fix this using debt, and it is doomed to fail. Taking more debt will just make the bubble bigger. Right now, we have a lot of rumors that the Federal Reserve will soon begin buying stocks to at least stabilizing the market. This will only have for a short term. It will add even more debt to the economy that has already begun collapsing. The banking system has been in trouble for many years. This economic meltdown may be the final blow that will make many financial institutions go bankrupt. To be specific, the Deutsche Bank has been shrinking. Right now, this bank is valued at a liquidation price. It is on a life support machine. Very soon, it will collapse. Many banks are facing financial difficulties. We might see more bank failure in the near future. The Deutsche Bank is deeply interconnected with many Arab banks, so this bank failure will trigger a cascade of bank failure that will lead to the biggest banking crisis in the history of mankind. Many banks are loaded with debt. This will further accelerate the collapse of the whole financial system. The whole banking system is troubled, and it was just last week when the Federal Reserve had to intervene in the repo market by pumping about $2 trillion of liquidity. Our economy is cancerous. This had been hidden for decades, but right now the turmoil has begun breaking above the skin. All our economic problems are being exposed. In just 2 weeks, trillions of dollars have been lost in the stock market. An economic depression is the next thing that will happen. History has taught us that any debt-driven economy always ends up at a greater depression. Right now, the American economy is slowing down at a rate that have never seen before. We have an economy that looks like a Ponzi scheme. We can only prepare for the worst. The global markets are surging in a serious way to a point where we have a big panic sell that has created a big liquidity problem. The happening in the market have been terrific to a point where the Federal Reserve has stepped in to provide extra liquidity. The Fed has announced that they are planning to provide $1.5 trillion of liquidity to the market. Now, when you look at the historical data, this has been the fastest collapse from all-time highs. To be a bear market right now, we have a very wide credit spread and the biggest weekly jump in VIX. We have also had a historic drop in oil price. It looks as if every financial market is troubled. This is just the beginning, but everything is smelling panic. In the financial market, nothing similar to this has been seen before, not even during the financial crisis in 2008. The bull market we have had in the last 10 years has also contributed by straight valuation. This is what had earlier set the stage for the biggest stock market bull trap in history. No one had predicted the impact of this global panic because of the economic expansion that was sold to them by Wall Street. Right now, revenues from various global companies are shrinking. These stocks are tumbling every day. Flights are being cancelled all over the world, and many tourist destinations around the world have already been closed. The whole global system is literally crashing in an unprecedented fashion, and the damage is not theoretical. Everyone is feeling the pain. The central banks have been trying to reverse this economic meltdown for the past 2 weeks. Now, this includes emergency interest rate cut, but this had not reduced the sell-off in the market yesterday. The Federal Reserves are now a further interest rate cut to 0. This shows how the extent to which the economy has been shaken. Also, in the past week, the Federal Reserve restored to take desperate efforts. The booster market in announcing they will be injecting billions of dollars in liquidity to the market. Soon we will see the Fed launch more quantitative easing program to stimulate the economy that have already collapsing. For the last 2 years, smart investors like Ray Dalio have been predicting this economic meltdown. These well-informed hedge fund managers have an understanding of what was about to happen, but they underestimated impact. What is happening now is not just another passing economic recession, but we are on our way to a depression. The smart money has been bullish, with gold analysts are saying that the price of gold will continue to skyrocket all the way to the end of this year. Bridgewater Associates, the biggest hedge fund in the world, has been constantly saying that ineffectual central bank policy and huge debt are some of the factors that will cause an economic meltdown. This is the truth because right now we have historic debt level. The entire economy has been surviving on debt for years. It is shocking that this year we have a budget deficit that exceeds $1 trillion by the beginning of 2020. The student loan, corporate debt, consumer debt has also skyrocketed to the highest level in history. This reliance of debt had reached to the topping level where it's unsustainable and consequently an economic crisis is inevitable. What we are seeing now in the stock market is just the beginning. Economists are predicting that the market will collapse all the way to 40%. The US and China trade war has also been affecting the slowing global economy in a big way. This is further acceleration for the global economic meltdown. At the moment, we are but a blink away from the type of depression that happened in 1930s, where we have the most severe economic depression in the modern world. The Federal Reserve will continue to initiating more economic stimulus policy. It will not be a wonder if the interest rate further slashes all the way to zero. A continued cut in interest rate can also trigger a crash in bond market, just as it happened in the 1980s. For many years, US economic growth has been fueled by debt. As a result, we had a hyper bubble that already begun bursting. At the moment, we are transitioning from an economic slowdown to a depression. This time, it will not only hit the United States but the whole world. This is the time when our leaders should understand the whole economic system is already broken. Our economy has been sustained by debt imbalance and lies. It has come to a point where this game must come to an end. The reality of our economy is materializing. The stock market is just a reflection of how the entire economy is. The Federal Reserve will try to print more money as they did in 2008 financial crisis. But look, this time their strategy will not work. Printing more money now will cause hyperinflation. This will pave the way for a collapse of the US dollar. The collapse of the American economy has just begun. Right now, we have a stock market collapsing that will eventually lead to an economic depression. The best thing that you can do right now is to prepare yourself to face the tough economic times that are coming in our way. Now, if you ask me, the best way to prepare for the worst scenario of the economy is to invest in gold. Economists has predicted the price of gold in the recession time will continue to skyrocket, and through the end of this year it will go even higher. So if you don't know how to invest in gold, I will leave a link below to the hedge fund that I am investing into. I have invested at least half of my investment portfolio in this hedge fund called Regal Assets. They specialize in investing in gold and cryptocurrency, but right now I think gold is the best way to profit from time of depression, because gold price will always goes up in time like this, and I highly recommend that you put half of your investment portfolio in gold as a way to secure your saving in time like this. And as usual, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, and subscribe to my channel. That way you will be alert whenever I release a new video. Thank you and see you next time.